Welcome to Recovering Addict. How is my lovely family doing up today in that chat? I hope you guys went to bed last night thinking about positive things about yourself because you are completely worth it. You are more valuable than you know. You have more strengths. Oh boy, I'm going to spill my tea or something again tonight. I didn't get my nap. I didn't get a shower. I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling right. I'm feeling right now.
Chair won't stay up.
Everything's discombobulated. I didn't have time to set up or anything. I hope the audio's on.
Discombobulated reminds me of like blood that thickens.
Oh, coagulation. Oh.
Coagulated.
What up, everybody? All right, we got Merc and Sapper in the house. We got Matthew.
Hola.
What's going on, Merd? How's Mr. Red doing today? How's Mr. Red's dad doing today?
Hola.
Merc. JJ Johnson in the house. Deborah, how are you doing today? Look at you looking so lovely today.
Beautiful.
Nice to see you. Glad you're here. We got Matthew again. We got Petey. We got Michael Teeter. Sky's up in the house. Boo Boo Bear.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, y'all, it's my mama's birthday today.
Happy birthday to
The song's
you.
copyrighted.
I sing it with a different tune.
I can't sing it.
Hey, I commented on your post. What did I say?
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you are good. Hey, you guys want to see something cool we got? We got something cool. So now when you order a t-shirt, you know we send little special things. Now we have some more special things. And Merc, pay attention here. Watch this. This, my friends, is what you call a bookmark.
It's a bookmark.
We got a bookmark.
It's so cute.
I love it. So we got them now for y'all. Y'all can get you a bookmark here.
Amanda Hadley, are you hypersensitive?
Yeah. Imagine that one.
Oh, no.
So, speaking of the subject of this topic of this stream tonight, we're going through chapter 8 on addictive thinking, and we're looking at hypersensitivity because as addicts, we can be a little sensitive. It's not a very long chapter. It's only like 2.5 pages. So I'm going to just kind of take my time as we go through this. We'll chit-chat. We'll hang out in the chat more today. We'll get questions, comments from y'all, and talk about you more.
Merc's life is now complete. We've completed
Where do
him.
you say that
On the bottom.
at?
Oh, I got a mouse.
Oh, yeah, Aubrey. When Aubrey tunes in, we got to show you this. You are a saving grace. Oh, thanks, Boo Bear. That means a lot. It's really encouraging. Encouraging words keep us encouraged, which keeps us going every night. If we know we're adding value to your sobriety and life, then
For those that just
awesome. And we dug out our other mouse to this computer, so now Felice and I both can control.
now we can fight
show.
over the cursor.
Yeah, now we got to fight over the stinking cursor. But they're both connected, and we're ready to go.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hello, Connie
hi,
Rice.
Nikki.
Connie is
Wow.
new here.
Nice of you to show us
This
or
is
join us.
LT. I am Felice. This is Linky. Connie.
Connie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let us know about yourself in the chat if you're into recovery, and if you are, what got you there, how long you've been clean, if it's sober, if you're drunk or high right now, let us know that too. But we are here to support you with whatever you may need and your sobriety. The only desire to hang out with us is the only, what is it called? Whatever. If you want to be here, the only thing you got to do is just have a desire to quit drinking or using.
Yep, that. Alicia. Oh, Michael Teeter.
Oh, 90 days. I think let's play our special cute video for Michael Teeter. We didn't make this one especially for you, Mr. Teeter, but it's still there for you.
And congratulations, Teeter.
That's my boy. Teeter's my boy.
Love it.
Actually, I want to hang the bookmark right here.
Perfect. Alicia says, How do we get a bookmark? And Merck says, Alicia, send $9.99 through PayPal. 2 for 1 night.
I love it.
Funny.
What we need to do is now send these. We should. Oh, I think the next batch, Merck, we got to send them all to you, and then you sign them. We'll put a little quote on there or something. Send them back. We'll chop them up and then send them out.
Oh my gosh, genius, Dad.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
What was I talking about? Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi, Boo Boo Bear.
Miss Rice.
Ooh.
So for those of you who are new, I'm going to just give you guys my story in a nutshell. A lot of you have heard it. Oh, nice. 1/20/18. Good job. A couple years under that belt. That's awesome. I was a meth addict. I was a tweaker. I was a raging alcoholic. I had to check into detox. So this was 2 different parts of my life, my early 20s and my late 30s. My early 20s was crime, partying, any drug you put in front of me, I did it. But meth took me to places I'd never wanted to be and never imagined I would be. Committed a felony, got caught, almost spent 15 years in prison, but I did. I was locked up for a year and spent 3 years on probation, thank God. After that, I was clean and sober for a while, only because I had a job that required drug tests, not because I wasn't an addict. But I started drinking casually in my late 30s, which turned me into a 5th a night whiskey drinker, gallons on the weekend. I checked myself into a hospital to detox where they kept me for 4 days, 3 nights. And then I checked into an IOP program where I've been working my steps. I'm on step 7 right now. I transitioned from that IOP after a 5-month stretch of every single night from 5 to 9:30. And now I'm in the continuing care part. I've opened a nonprofit organization under the name Recovering Addict. That is almost to completion today. As soon as a couple more papers come back from the IRS, it will be a full-fledged nonprofit. And I'm going to kick that off here shortly. And just, I'm just throwing my net out there. I'm just going to keep continuing, pressing forward, and whatever God, it's like that one story of the woodpecker. All the other woodpeckers came around him and said, how did you chop down this gigantic tree? The trunk's like 10 feet around. And he's like, I just showed up and started chopping. And God did the rest. A lightning bolt came and struck it and knocked the tree over. So I'm just a wee widow woodpecker over here pecking on a huge tree. I'm just going to wait and see what God does.
I like it. Stop it. Boo says, you really are saving grace. I enjoy your show. Also says, I swear I laugh all the time while watching y'all. Your husband shows his teeth and it's so nice.
Oh, thank you.
He's so nice.
I'm a cheesy bear, boo-boo bear.
He's got them great dimples, too.
I used to see the dimples in my fat butt.
Hello, Megan. Oh, hey, Brittany.
Megan and Brittany. All right.
Ooh.
What's up, family?
Oh, it's
This
Ricky.
is Ricky. Oh, right on. Using a different phone because my phone is dead.
Hey, Ricky, Megan.
Here's CPR.
Ricky Megan Williams.
Oh, hey, Derek. TJ.
All right, go back to, I'm a trash can. Anything and everything I did so long-term IOP, a full year every day, 9 to 12. Yep. Oh, man, we got a lot in common. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here.
One sentence. You realize you have a lot in common.
So what you can expect from the show there, Connie, is a continuing education.
And really white teeth.
That's just the camera. I really look like, what's his name? Austin Powers.
Who is this? If somebody doesn't want to see your dimply butt.
I really don't want to
Oh,
see
it's
that.
Ray. Ray.
Ray, you've already seen it,
Yeah,
man.
he's
Nobody,
probably-
what? What? You've seen it already.
Sheree says you're doing awesome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very encouraging, you guys. Very, very encouraging.
Hi, Don.
You encourage us to keep the shows going.
And y'all, that's a bookmark.
How can they get them if they've already?
I think I need to take a picture of it and I'll upload it. You talk for a minute. I'm gonna take a picture and upload it so you guys can get a good look at it.
It looks really good.
I'm gonna take a picture of it right here.
I have a whole bunches of them that I need to cut out still. I don't know how we'll get them to. I think the plan was to start sending them with the T-shirts. A pretty little package. With every T-shirt, you get a bookmark. So, Alicia, I'm pretty sure you already got a t-shirt, so you don't live very far away
Yeah, when you and Raina come down for your barbecue at
Yeah.
our house.
when we have taco night.
Yeah.
You and Raina, you get a bookmark. Raina, are you there? Raina,
Where is Raina?
where are you?
Raina!
Raina!
I got a joke.
Linky has a joke.
Connie says, take a pic. Like he's got jokes.
What's the best thing about Switzerland?
It's cheese.
I don't know, but the flag has a big plus.
Oh. Hi, Mama.
It's cheese.
Mama of Kenny, long time no see. Glad you're here. Welcome to the stream.
You still sober?
Mama of Kenny never was a user.
Huh.
She just likes
So,
to.
yes.
She likes to hang out with crazy people.
Oh, Jeffro. He's new. And in 12 months, mental health support, AA addict.
I got another joke.
Imagine that.
Here comes a picture of the bookmark.
Okay, here we go, y'all. Let's read our AA thought of the day while that is loading. So the AA thought of the day for June 11th on my mommy's birthday, and my buddy Luke across the street, his birthday,
Happy birthday, Luke.
which is cool. You can hang that back up. It says, we alcoholics have to believe in some power greater than ourselves. Yes, we have to believe in a higher power. We turn that divine principle in the universe that we call God when we realize that only something greater than ourselves can heal our disease. And we surrender control of our unmanageable lives. So here's the question for everybody. Have I stopped trying to run my own life? I read that earlier. And sometimes on good days, I'm like, God, it's all you. And then on other days, I'm like, God, give me the wheel, give it back. And I try to run my own life. And then that's when I can tell I'm highly impatient because I want something to happen and I want it to happen now. I don't let God's perfect timing come into play. And so it's a battle, right? It's probably going to be a battle the rest of our lives too. Sometimes we are letting God completely run our lives. And other times you try to get back in control, and that's when them character defects start happening. Once those character defects start happening, that's when we're going up the down escalator, and as soon as we stop, we are on our way down, and then at the bottom, that's where relapse happens up here, but relapse, leads to drinking and using drugs. We don't want that. So here's our meditation of the day. Lord, we thank thee for the great gift of peace, that peace which passeth all understanding, that peace which the world can neither give nor take away. Breathe through your mouth.
Wait, read that again. Oh, great peace.
I don't even know what I was reading. All I heard was like Darth Vader in my ear. That is the peace, now that Linky's not breathing in my ear, that only God can give. So that is the peace that only God can give in the midst of a restless world, surrounded by trouble and difficulty. To know that peace is to have received the stamp of the kingdom of God. When you have earned that peace, you are fit to judge between true and false values, between the values of the kingdom of God and the values of all that the world has to offer. So I pray that today I may have inner peace. I pray that today I may be at peace with myself. And if you're getting value, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell because we are live at 8 o'clock every night so that you can be notified.
Yes, all those things. Hello, Sawyer House.
Alicia
You have a
said,
new
give me
girl.
a date and time.
Oh, yeah. Soon. I think it should be soon.
What did I say?
Oh, they got a new girl in the house.
Awesome. Well, give her our best wishes and all that kind of stuff. What's up, Bob? Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here.
Daryl, this is the first time in years that God and myself have had control over my body.
Awesome, Daryl. So you new here? If so, let us know about your sobriety and all that. What's your sober date and all that kind of good stuff. Connie says where are we located, and we are in northern Utah. Utah. One of the greatest states on the planet. It doesn't seem like it until you visit it. And then you're like, whoa, this place is amazing.
Kyle recognized your smooth transition tonight.
Oh, he did?
Much better. Zapper did.
Zapper did.
Pretty sure his name's Kyle. Your name's Kyle, right?
I told Felicia, I'm going to nail that tonight. I'm going to nail it.
He was practicing for at least an hour and a half.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our subject. Hypersensitivity. Chapter 8, page 57. To better understand the attitudes and the reactions of an addict, it is important to know where the person is coming from. It's always better to know wherever a person's coming from, right? If somebody approaches you, you can't just instantly judge them based on how they look or how they sound or any of that kind of stuff. It's always good to just stop, listen, and actually get to know that person before you come up with any type of stereotypical reaction towards that person. Anyway, that's just a little stupid rant. Sorry to get off track. We can understand.
Let's say hi to Bob.
I
It's been
did.
a while. Oh, you did?
I already said hi to Bob.
I didn't. Hi,
All right.
Bob.
Yeah, so that's on you.
Well, now I said it. You may finish.
Jeffro Mulfit,
I
Rocky
already
Ridge,
said hi to
Ohio.
Jeffro,
Sweet.
so
Excuse me.
there you guys go.
That's where we're at. So we can understand a person's extremely unusual reactions to certain experiences only if we understand the conditions surrounding the experience. Which means we may not understand why an addict is hypersensitive in certain situations until you get to know the addict and understand where they're coming from. If we were to see someone reacting angrily, this is a cool example here. If we were to see somebody reacting angrily to what appears to be hardly a noticeable contact, right? Say, brushing against somebody in a crowded elevator, we'd probably wonder, what's wrong with that person? So you walk in, you're all in an elevator, there's 8 to 10 of you. One guy walks in and brushes another guy, and all of a sudden he freaks out. It's like, dude, you're in an elevator. Calm down. What's that guy's problem? Or we might think that the person has a very short fuse. Like, what the heck's he got such a short fuse for? We would likely consider the angry reaction unwarranted. Like, dude, that is not necessary. You just need to calm down right now. But now suppose same situation, same angry reaction, but however, that person involved has a blistering sunburn. Now you know something about why he reacted like that. The entire picture will change, right? What appeared to be superficial contact was actually enough to elicit excruciating pain. And even if the angry outburst was not justified, at least we can understand why it occurred. Even though he may have overreacted, but he's got a sunburn. Okay, we get it. You know what I mean? It's that key to understanding a little bit more about the situation before we make that initial judgment. And understanding that, we can now actually sympathize with the guy. I always heard about it when you talk about people that are blind spiritually, right? When people freak out on you, you always hear that, oh, they're just blind, or oh, they're sick. You could take that when we talk about other people that we have to deal with who don't understand recovery. We consider them sick people, right? Who are still acting out in their sickness. And in a sense, we could call them they're blind. Their eyes aren't open to recovery and to a new way of living. And when they act like that, we could freak out back, you know what I mean? Or understand they're not blind. They don't understand the things in recovery, or do they have the ability and do they possess the knowledge to handle situations like that with the same tools that we have? They're blind, right? And so now you got to think, if somebody comes and spills a drink on you, you're going to be upset. But if you look back and that guy's blind and he's carrying a drink and he accidentally bumped into you, whoever was leading him, and you'd be more sympathetic to it. So while a sunburn is apparent to everyone who can see, people's emotional sensitivities are not. Here we go again. This is the third time this book has related physical symptoms to the mental, emotional side of us, to our psyche. Remember the first time? The first time we talked about if your arm gets cut, you need a Band-Aid. When you're pain and hurt emotionally, that's also a sign that you need to take care of it. That's bugging me. I got to move the camera. My arm keeps going out of this thing. I don't like that. I have to go this way. But then I'll spill my tea.
Let's just move your tea. And problem solved.
What was the second one? You remember? About how emotions related to how the body works? I don't remember the second one. But here's the third one. If you can understand there's a sensitive sunburn that affects the skin, people on the inside have the same type of sensitivity. And I can totally relate to this. And I'm sure you all can too. So knowing that, we may therefore fail to understand an intense reaction if we are not aware of the person's peculiar sensitivities. So getting to know somebody, you can understand their peculiar sensitivities. I have a few myself, and we'll talk about those here in just a minute when we get through a couple pages. But he says that he has often wondered why some people resort to using alcohol and other drugs to feel better and others do not. A lot of us are hypersensitive, and we go to alcohol and drugs. So real quick in the chat, if you can explain, do you know why you guys, I know why I did, but do you know why you resorted to using drugs and alcohol? I'm sure like me, it started out as fun, party and all that kind of stuff, but why did you resort to it to the point to where now we are here as a community talking about recovery? What were you doing with your alcohol? What were you trying to cope with? Was it hypersensitivity? Was it tragedy? Was it loss? Was it, being bored, just not coping with life on life's terms? Do you guys know why you would turn to drugs or alcohol to feel better? Because some people do and some people don't. And he says genetic and psychological differences in people play an important role in the development of addiction. But these are certainly not the entire answer.
I'm gonna shout out Bree from Louisville real quick.
Hey, there she is.
Boop, boop, boop.
That's from Louisville. Right. Oh,
Louisville girls.
that is so cool.
Oh, here we go. Alicia knows.
I know. Go for it.
So I'm in this group because my husband in recovery, and I just want to support him without pressing him. That girl. He's 90 days sober of alcohol, and this group helps me understand. Also, I turn it on so he can listen, even though he acts as if he doesn't.
We got another Bob in the house.
Is he listening right now? Because he just heard that. I see him checking it out and smiling at you guys, so I think he's liking the live and also the support without pressure. Can you guys give any advice to me on how to support him?
Yeah, let me jump in here real quick. Let me take that off there. I just want to plug tomorrow's show. Tomorrow, Friday night, at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Utah time. I have my friend Matt. He was on the show. I can't remember what day it was. Sunday night? I think it was Sunday night. He shared his story, but his wife is going to come over tomorrow night, and his wife is not an alcoholic, not an addict. Felice is not an alcoholic, and she's not an addict as well. Those two are going to have the show tomorrow night. It's going to be about them two, what they experienced, what they dealt with, and how they lived with alcoholics and addicts. But for advice right now, today, I'll leave that up to Felice.
So sounds like you're doing the right things. That's how I was supportive with him. I went to all the AA meetings with him, went to family group therapy, went to all the things I could go to that he wanted me to go to with him. And I never pressured him and made him feel like I had to go, did I? Just if you wanted me there and it was okay, then I would go.
I think you asked him. I invaded.
Yeah, I didn't want him to feel like I was taking over. But I liked hearing everybody's stories and where everybody was coming from because it gave me a better understanding of addiction and how better I could support, because they would give advice too on things to do. But what you're doing is great. Educate yourself. Just be there for him, love him, listen to him without judgment. I think that's a big one.
He's in recovery, so
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
90 days is awesome, but if he has hard days, just listen. And don't.
Encourage him to talk.
Yeah.
One of the things my counselor commended us for, and another person in our group he didn't so much commend for, but we were talking about this, and my buddy who's in our group, he had some things arise, and I was like, well, when that happens to me, and I'll use triggers for an example. One day I was out in the shop, I opened the garage, instantly I felt like I needed to drink whiskey. I was like, whoa, and I just told Felice, like, man, I feel like drinking right now. And the fact that I told her took the power out of it, and my counselor said, He goes, the people, the couples who talk about it, I'm not worried about. It's the ones that are not talking about it that I worry about. So if he's feeling any type of his emotions, I don't know, what do you say, 90 days?
Yeah.
So 90 days, I don't know how long he was using or what he was using. Either way, it doesn't matter what, but how long he was using. You have to understand that he has suppressed his emotions for a long time. And now, as his brain is rewiring itself, his body's coming back to normal, he's starting to learn to live life on life's terms. His emotions are something he hasn't experienced. And when I say emotions, I'm not just talking about sadness, stress, anxiety, which those are definitely there. I'm talking about excitement, joy, love, because all of our emotions were suppressed during that drug or alcohol use. And sometimes any of them, good or bad, can be overwhelming at times. And those times we kind of just need to talk about it.
Yeah, and back to the thing in the shop where he told me that he was craving. We talked to Amber from Put the Shovel Down, and she said most spouses or family members would react negatively and panic when your spouse or whoever tells you those concerns. But the better response is to just listen. Because like he said, it's good that they want to talk about it.
Yeah, so the negative consequence, what she's getting at, is if I would have said, man, I feel like drinking, and all of a sudden she has a panic attack, kind of freaks out on me, you can, and handles the situation negatively. But to be a listening ear and to just let the power just dissipate, let the speech of it and the hearing of it dissipate the power of that internal emotion.
Yeah. Hopefully that's good advice, and hopefully you tune in tomorrow.
And give him a hug for us real quick. I love it. In recovery, dude. That's awesome.
Where'd you go? Mr. McLeese. Hello.
Who? Daryl?
McLeese.
Oh, Mr. McLeese. She's at the bottom. She wrote again.
Oh.
Wait, but there's a couple more up top.
What? They're answering your questions.
Life sucked, Bob said. Merck knows why. Daryl had low self-esteem. Yeah, that's a huge addict thing, and that can happen before. That's two things you got to fix now. If you were here at yesterday's show, that'll help with that low self-esteem.
Acceptance. Death of my mom. This is Alicia.
Trying to feel better emotionally and calm my nerves. Yeah, I feel that.
It's great you're supportive.
Amen.
To kill the pain.
Sapper wants to kill the pain, both physically and emotionally. Yeah, there's that physical element to it as well. That's awesome. She said, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was Petey. That's not, yeah.
Yeah, congrats on 90 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Amen. We recover better together. Yeah, keep that in mind, that you too will recover better together. And then on his side of the house, I don't know your whole situation, but I'm just going to tell you from our experience that my alcohol and drug use led to discontent, strife, resentments, all that kind of stuff in our marriage, right? Totally just messed everything up for a while in our marriage. And so I'm not the only one that's in recovery. She's also in recovery as well, because being the codependent on an addict does things to your mind and the way that you react and maybe the way you walk on eggshells. So it's a two-way street. You're in recovery as well. You're not here just totally to support him, but you are here to, how can you deal with life after having lived and dealt with an addict? And that's that whole we recover better together, because we're doing this together now. And if you sound committed and like in a loving relationship, that's really awesome.
Yeah, and I know probably same as me, there's always that little tinge of thought that there might be a relapse one day. But just my advice, I guess, is just don't think about it. Just push it out of the way, because if it hasn't happened, then don't worry about it. There's no use worrying about something that hasn't happened or may never happen. Just live in today, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Yep.
So she cheered him up, made him dance, started to smile, started to talk to me, and I told him how much. That's really awesome.
That's good. Yeah, keep doing that.
Alcoholic. Freaking alcohol. Bob says, I use the same way in Yellowstone volcano erupts. The Yellowstone volcano continues to erupt because Yellowstone volcano continues to erupt. Croak from the I love you, Bob. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really encouraging.
Yeah, check out
be
Amber
sorry.
from Put the Shovel Down also. Did you watch her when she came on? She's got good advice. I wish I would have found her way sooner.
I have severe ADD. Squirrel. Yeah, me too. And even when I sleep, while trying to sleep between the constant nightmares and not being able to stop moving, I did drugs to help with that. Yeah, Megan, same here. Even now, like in recovery, I noticed, and I was thinking about this today. I got into recovery, and my attention span was so ruined from the alcohol and drugs that I had a hard time reading just a couple basic sentences, like keeping my mind on it. And now I can get through a good chapter. But even when I'm studying this book, because of my ADD type of mind, I can do like multiple things at once. I'll usually maybe have 2 videos playing, and I'll have something on my phone, and then I'll I'll read a paragraph, and I chew on it. I underline a couple things, and then I switch over to this thing, and I do that one for a minute, and then I do the other one for a minute, and I go on my phone, and I can sit and do those 4 things, and it produces. This is just the way my mind works, you know. So I've learned to deal with my ADD, and in reading my step 7, you have to list some
Ricky.
some
Sorry,
things.
Megan, we forgot you were Ricky.
Oh, geez, what?
Remember, he's not using his phone. He's
right.
using Megan's.
I forgot.
Sorry.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry.
This still applies.
Sorry, Megan. Just kidding.
But yeah, dude, I had to. What was I saying now? Oh, in my step 7, I had to list a couple of things that could be character defects, even though they're not listed in the 17 character defects, and a short attention span, which is, you know, native to ADD kind of stuff. But the ADD in that classification is just means, I don't know, for me, we have high IQs. We can handle a lot of information really fast. We can think faster than most people. And most people don't know how to handle people that can do that. So they call us, you know, attention deficit disorder, when actually we've consumed the content faster than they could. You got that, Megan?
It's so weird that you say it's cool, bro, but it says Megan. It's true. It's like messing with my brain.
Mine too. All right, so relief. What time is it? Time for Cassie's quote yet?
I think so.
We kind of have a special Cassie quote today, so I'm going to wait 6 more minutes.
Okay.
Relief from feelings of distress and discomfort. Though many people use alcohol and other drugs to get high, many others use chemicals just to feel normal. Did any of you use chemicals and alcohol just to feel normal? At one point, my meth addiction got to that point where I had to have meth just to feel normal, and then I had to go and eat it, sniff it, chew it. You know, I would have been slamming it if I didn't get arrested when I did. But my meth, I can see that with opiates too, man. You have to have opiates just to feel normal. That's not good. Man, that's not good. For these chemically dependent people, alcohol and other drugs are emotional anesthetics, as they seek relief from feelings of distress and discomfort. And I've seen a lot of that in the comments just a minute ago. Certainly, just about everyone's life has plenty of stressful circumstances, but most people do not use alcohol or other drugs to cope with their distress. Crazy, huh? But some people have greater sensitivity to stress. These people are apparently feeling emotional discomfort more accurately or more acutely than others. Many addicts are emotionally hypersensitive and are likely to have more intense emotions than non-addicts. And then, that's true, that's with me. I have a lot of hyper emotions. And then you use drugs and numb them out, and then we have to learn how to deal with them after we forgot what they were. So that's that whole recovery emotional thing I was talking about. Chemically dependent people often seem to be almost inordinately sensitive with emotions of extreme intensity. Listen to this. When they love intensely, and when they hate intensely. Can you relate with that? The emotional sensitivity of the addict may be similar to the hypersensitivity of the sunburned skin. A stimulus that might not produce emotional pain in a non-addict can produce great distress in an addict. On days that I feel that, it's usually with sound. Sound like overwhelm. Like sometimes it's overwhelming. I'll have to wear earplugs. Just the dog's nails on the wood floor. When Fleece clips her fingernails, that gets me every time. It feels like people are shoving pins into my ears. The kids, if they're in here just chattering when I'm in that high, I have to tell them, hey, just quiet down. If I'm at work and it's like that, I put earplugs in. Bob gets that. All right. How's your new life? Hey, Jeffro, name 3 benefits of being sober the last 18 months. Give me 3 benefits in the chat.
Ricky Megan related.
Same here, dude.
You might be a little behind, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry. So basically, we're talking about hypersensitivity. And say we're in a crowded elevator. Somebody walks in and they just brush past each other. And the guy that got brushed past freaks out. Oh, why'd you touch me? You might be thinking, what the heck's wrong with this guy? Not understanding the circumstances. You maybe think he's overreacting. But if you understand the situation, maybe he walked in and he had a sunburn. If he had a sunburn and he walks in and gets touched, he'll understand his overreaction to the situation of something just as common as brushing past somebody in an elevator. That being said, our emotions, when we see people have panic attacks, freak out, and addicts more so than more other people, we have emotional sensitivity equal to that of somebody's sunburn. I don't know if that helps.
Jerry doesn't understand sunburn because he's super.
Oh my gosh, is this a black thing? Right over my head. I get you now. Okay.
But it was real good, so I let you keep going.
All right, damn.
I was like, oh, that was really good.
Got me, Jerry.
Funny.
Where's Amos?
Okay.
Amos, my oldest son. He's half black. He knows what's up.
He said, I get emotional. I was just kidding.
Oh, jeez. That was a good one. That was. I think Jerry's being sarcastic. Yeah, thanks, Big Hunk. Where were you on that one?
Baby's going through it. We don't know. These guys were all laughing over here.
That's funny.
Let's go back to
Just like this.
I just made it huge. Let's go back to Desmond.
If your partner is willing to work with you as a partnership, it helps so much more. Unfortunately, my wife doesn't want to know. She thinks I'm just weak. She doesn't know what it's like in full addiction. Right. A lot of people, Desmond, can't separate the addict from the person, because when we're in active addiction, we are Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We are 2 different people. And the person we are, luckily my wife was able to see through my addict and know who I really am on, the recovery side of the house, and was patient enough to wait through all the misery. Yeah. So I don't know. I wish I could answer that one. Maybe that's what I'll study, is how to open people's eyes to that, because I've seen that a lot lately.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Jacqueline gets that kind of sensitivity. Yep.
Well, I wanted to see.
Go ahead. I'm going to grab some more tea. You go ahead. And then when we get back, we'll play Cassie's quote of the day, who has a special guest.
Husband said, appetite, sleep, satisfaction. I'm still laughing over Jerry's tanness, and I forgot what we're talking about. What was the question?
I didn't know there was one.
Was there a question? Sorry. My copy skills is great.
Oh, the bookmark. I never showed the bookmark.
I tried. What? Did we show the bookmark?
Not the picture.
Oh, yeah. Do the picture.
All right, so here's the picture of the bookmark, y'all. Boom.
I love it. I make the whole little
Now does it make sense, Merc? And then I pasted that on your shirt for you. Oh, I love it. And on that note, here comes Cassie.
Good evening, my recovering addict family. I am here tonight with your motivational quote and a special motivational quote because I have a special guest, my grandfather, Mr. Buck Weaver. Say hi. All right, so here's our quote. This is a quote. My grandfather received it as a gift from the colonel, which is his friend. Retired colonel. So I'm gonna read this quote to you. Can you guys see it there? Okay, so it says, always pray to have eyes that see the best in people, a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. Now that's a good one. And then it's signed right here by the colonel to my grandpa because he is so darn special. He's 91, by the way, so that makes it extra special. So that's our quote tonight. We love you, our recovering addict family. Some special guests from my grandfather, which is LT's grandfather too. You can see where LT gets his looks from. And we will continue to spread that love. Let's show them how to do it like this, Grandpa. Put your hands up, put that heart. We'll put it together and we're gonna continue to spread that love. Spread that love, spread it, Grandpa.
We're together, we're together.
We're together. Oh wait, put your mask on so you can show me your mask really quick. Grandpa has, upside down. He made his special mask. He's practicing his social distancing.
Those aren't just turkey feathers. That's a necktie when I'm going to one of my sleeping meetings. There we go.
Boom. That's how we do it. We love you guys. Mwah. God bless.
I love it.
There's my grandpa, y'all. There's my grandpa.
Hi, Grandpa. Don't know if you're watching.
Oh,
Hi,
that's funny.
Grandpa.
Good job, Cassie.
That was a great one, Bob.
Jerry, no worries, bro. I've been busy with my program. Good. Oxford stuff, staying clean, going to meetings in my area now open back up, so it's kind of hard to catch a moment. Hey, no worries, brother. Remember, like I was saying, physical meetings are where it's at. You know, there's something about that one, you know, that face-to-face that's just a little better than this, but this is a supplement. I always relate this channel to working out, okay? So if you know anything about fitness and working out, you work out and you take a protein shake, right? That's a supplement. A steak and some vegetables would be better, but you're on the fly, you drink a protein shake. And so you can look at this as a supplement to your recovery. Have a protein shake, and then in between meals, right, in between those AA and NA meetings, you need a supplement to help produce those calorie intake, to keep the fat burning, to keep your mind on recovery and education. And that's what this channel can be for you, is a supplement, an extra added benefit to your recovery. What?
She was going off. So back to PD. Where'd he go? He said 3 things that's been beneficial in his recovery. Back to Elisha's husband. He said appetite, sleep, satisfaction. Now it makes
Appetite,
sense.
sleep, and satisfaction. Oh, appetite, sleep, absolutely. Satisfaction. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Contentment in life. I love it. Good on you, brother. Let me see. Elisha.
Or Elisha.
Elisha.
Or bad at names.
All right. So many addicts, maybe you can relate with this too. Many addicts are loners. Now this is, remember, we're talking about hypersensitivity. What goes on inside an addict and what makes people act the way they act? On the surface, they may seem to be antisocial and enjoy solitude, but that isn't necessarily true. Human beings by nature crave companionship. The loner doesn't really enjoy isolation. Even though an introvert may be recharged in isolation, they still will crave social gatherings and people, you know.
That's me.
And then once the people and all that stuff's too much, they go back to being an introvert. And then an extrovert's the opposite of that. Isolation, that's when they get kind of stressed out and they go out in the public to be charged, you know. So mingling with people exposes, so the loner, okay, let me back up just a hair. The loner doesn't really enjoy isolation, but sees it as the lesser of 2 evils, okay? Now we're looking at what they're looking at inside emotionally. They're seeing mingling with people or staying isolated. What is the lesser of two evils? Isolation. I'll go do that. Why? Because rejection or mingling with people exposes the addict to the possibility of rejection. Just the possibility of rejection may stress them out. While rejection wouldn't be pleasant for anyone, and rejections never is, but to the addict, it can be devastating. The addict often anticipates rejection where some other people might be thinking like, huh, what? What are you even talking about? That's me. I'm usually the one that can walk around, in a crowd and I get rejected or whatever. And I was like, whatever, on to the next one. But in some cases, addicts, that is their sunburn on the inside. Jerry, sunburns hurt, by the way.
Yeah, look, he's been across the world and ain't been burnt yet.
You can still get cancer, though.
Keep popping.
That's awesome. But their hypersensitivity in the emotions could devastate them. Ironically, the anticipation of rejection may result in the torment of suspense, which may be so intolerable that the addict becomes abusive and provocative, provoking the rejection in order to be relieved of the suspense. I can kind of relate with that too. At a point in my life, I was jealous, and I thought for sure one day she's cheating on me. There's no doubt about it. It's happening. So I would push her, and I not even realize this is what was going on, and push her and push her and push her to hopefully that she does it. So then the suspense is over with, and I was right. That's kind of what this is saying. Ironically, the anticipation of rejection may result in the torment of the suspense, which may be so intolerable that the addict becomes abusive and provocative, provoking the rejection in order to be relieved of the suspense. That's crazy. Our emotions are so scared of what might happen, they're going to make it happen so the suspense is over with. It's done. At other times, addicts seek to avoid rejection by being clingy and possessive. So then there's that opposite too, where it's just like you're getting mauled, like get off and get away from me. But they're just so afraid of rejection and that internal hypersensitive emotion. They don't know how to deal with it. Being aware of this will help us deal with other people when they approach us. And then being aware will also help us see it in ourselves to be able to battle it. Social withdrawal, abusive behavior, fanatic jealousy are thus often found among addicts. Do you know anybody like that? Does that remind you of anybody, or does that remind you of yourself when I say social withdrawal, abusive behavior, fanatic jealousy are often found among addicts?
Hold that over for a minute.
Jeff likes her mask. My grandpa's mask with a little bow tie on it.
This is cute. Brittany said the same. Let's see, LT, have you read Overcoming Rejection?
No, I haven't. Let me write that down.
And Connie said all of the above. Overcoming Rejection.
So we got 2 more books after this one we're going through. So if there is a book that you are interested in, go to our private Facebook group. Join there if you're not already. But start dropping me some book ideas so that I can start staying ahead of the books that we're going to continue to go through. This channel is about recovery and education in recovery. And so I need ideas of books. I'll be looking. I've had some other people tell me some other books. But we got 2 more to go through. One's Addictive Personality. And then the next one after that will be It'll Never Happen to Me. After we finish this one. After we get through our 3rd book. Can we believe it? We've been through, if you guys have been here since the beginning, I know like Merck and Aaron, Alicia, and a few have. This is our 3rd book we've gone through. Israel. He can relate. I Didn't Belong with You All. I Didn't Belong with You All is the next title for this next section. It says a man in his 90th year 19th year of recovery, said in an AA talk, when I got to be about 9 years old or so, I began to feel that I was different from you all. I can't tell you why I felt different, but that's just the way I felt. If I walked into a room full of people, I felt I didn't belong with you all. And that didn't feel good. I just didn't belong. Years later, when I took my first drink, I suddenly felt the world was right with me. I belonged. So there's that social hyper-intensive anxiety to where you don't, I feel like that often. At work, the cliques get together, and I'm friends with them. I get along with them. I could go and hang out in the clique and be just fine. But I don't feel like I quite belong. I'm just like, I just don't belong, you know? But if I was drinking, give me 4 or 5, 10 shots, I'd feel right at home. I did that a lot with my life. This example vividly illustrates the intense feelings of being different that most addicts experience even before they use their first drug. So I love what this book is getting at, because definitely us addicts and alcoholics, we're in recovery. We created a personality due to the stress we brought on ourselves trying to keep our drugs and alcohols in order. But we had pre-personality disorders, problems, inconsistencies, defects that kind of helped lead us to doing drugs. And so now we got 2 things to work through. We got to fix the stuff that we created in our personality and our character because of the drugs and alcohol. And once we start working through that, we got to get to the real root of the problem. It's like an onion. We're just peeling it back, getting a little bit done every day until we get back into our youth and the way we were raised. And the cool thing is we have the tools now. We have everything available at our disposal, counselors, AA, communities, Facebook groups, Zoom meetings, and educational books that we can go through to help us deal with this kind of stuff. So I love it. And I love getting into the psychology part of that, looking back at the pre-personality before drug use and going, whoa, there's a little more to fix than I thought. Oh, and then you remember, wait a minute, I was here to get sober. I love that part.
What caption?
What caption?
How do we fix that?
I'm going to learn right along with you, Danielle. Me too. What caption is he talking about?
Now you got us tripping. Good job,
So,
Ricky.
as sensitive as a sunburn may be, a sunburnt person knows that although someone's touch may elicit sharp pain, usually no offense was intended. Hypersensitive addicts, however, often aren't aware of their extreme emotional sensitivity, so they see hostility and intentment in an innocent act or a remark and are apt to react accordingly. So if you see this within, there we go, Danielle. There's how we can fix some of that. If you see that you do have this hypersensitivity in your emotions, pretend like you have a sunburn and someone just brushed past you. They didn't mean any harm by it. Just like when somebody says something to you, you may react and take it that way, but maybe it's time to step back and go, wait a minute, let me think about it. Am I being hypersensitive? It's being hyper self-aware, understanding yourself. You have to learn yourself all inside and out.
Now I want to watch the captions and see what they're saying. Jerry's all wondering about the captions too.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Even though the side of it is something quite atrocious.
I wonder how it did that one. Last little paragraph. When we observe the reactions of a person using addictive logic, let's keep in mind the example of the sunburnt person. It may help us better understand. So when sick people approach you, think about the sunburned person who's overreacting and you don't know why. When you look at yourself in a situation and you've overreacted, take a step back and go, am I being hypersensitive?
They're terrible.
Are they really?
You can turn the captions off if you like click the little HD setting button or whatever. You can turn off the auto caption, but they make 0 sense from what I've read so far.
But think about what it's doing. It is live putting my words on the screen. That is cool. I know that it goes back through and redoes it and it makes it perfect. But the fact that it's actually doing that, wow. That's how it knows what you've already, you know, you guys would be blown away with some of the stuff I've been researching lately about technology and videos and what all really goes into it.
Wow. All right, I gotta turn the captions off. You guys got me all distracted.
Yeah, Epi, I think it's freaking awesome. Desmond says, what? Never felt normal or belong till I had my first. Yeah, Desmond, I can relate. Totally relate. I would get social anxiety going to anything, barbecues, Felice's parents, and just I didn't want to go, but you know, get a half a pint of whiskey in me, and I'm like, woohoo, come on, let's go. So I get it. I totally get it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And don't forget, we got bookmarks. I love our bookmarks. We're going to go with daily reflection today. Family obligations. A spiritual life which does not include family obligation may not be so perfect after all. That's on Alcoholics Anonymous, page 129. I can be doing great in the program, applying it at meetings, at work, and in service activities, and find that things have gone to pieces at home. I expect my loved ones to understand, but they cannot. I expect them to see the value of my progress, but they don't, unless I show them. Do I neglect their needs and desires for my attention and concern? When I'm around them, am I irritable or boring? Are my amends a mumbled sorry? Or do they take the form of patience and tolerance? Do I preach to them, trying to reform or fix them? Have I ever really cleaned house with them? The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. And that's kind of what I hit on this a while back when we were going through them character defects, is when you start learning and understanding the psychology of character defects, the bent nature we have towards evil, and you start working and practicing and then mastering your character defects, you'll see other people acting in their character defects, and you're going to know exactly which character defect that they're acting in. And you're going to be like, well, there's self-importance right there. And then you don't use the tools we learn to attack that person, but to try to softly teach them lovingly, you know.
We have been married for, how old are you, Linky? 12 years.
12 years.
Been together 14.
Yep. Want to pray with us? 14 years been together. Oh my goodness. I really did not like the drink, but I love the smoke. Help with my mind. Then as I got weak, it got deeper, so I had to quit clean until I got a mental broke and started the drink. When Dead by 3 came into my life, I went on poor me phases in life. Got a 3rd DUI, cleaned up, never took care of my mental health. Now then 18 months been working. Good. That's what you got to do, brother.
Good
That
job,
got me to think
Jeffro.
something. People get weed because they need it, but then they overuse it. Like as a medication. But then they overuse it.
Yep. Amen. Right on, Connie. That is so cool. All right, ready? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And
Amen.
thank you, Lord, for this wonderful night, and thank you for the weekend, and thank you for all the new people that are here. Please let them find hope and strength and support from everybody in the chat. Jesus' name,
Wait,
amen.
one more thing, dear God. I'd like to pray for everybody who subscribe to this channel to help them stay sober and clean, dear God. Amen.
Amen. Good job, buddy.
Amen. Another shout out to Grandma T and Luke the neighbor. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. We will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And remember, tomorrow's show is going to be Felice and my buddy Matt's wife. They are going to sit here and talk about living with alcoholics.
Yay.
Until tomorrow at 8 o'clock, y'all know what to do, right? You never put yourself in a high-risk situation. You stay strong, you work your program, and you remember, we recover better together.
Together.